Rev up your engines!
Adam Philly, is a certified Toyota used car worth paying for more than a non-certified? My advice is, you're buying a used car, you want to drive it around a little, check it out, all that stuff. But you always want to pay a mechanic like me to check it out before you buy it. This certified car, a lot of it is a bunch of baloney. I've had people, matter of fact, I had a guy a couple of days ago with a Toyota. Brought one from a Toyota dealer. I found all kinds of things, including that it had been in a wreck. Even though they had a Carfax that said it had never been wrecked. We laughed our butts off because we looked in the glove box and there was a receipt for $3,800 worth of body work. You'd think at the dealer they would have at least gotten rid of that receipt and thrown it away, but the morons didn't look inside. And there was this receipt for $3,800 of body work. And then when I looked, I could see where a lot of parts had been changed and they left some other parts off. That certified stuff is a bunch of nonsense as far as I'm concerned. The real certification you want in a used car is having your mechanic check it out before you buy it. Left, right. Well, changing spark plugs improve fuel economy on a 2008 Toyota Yaris. If they're really worn out, yeah, but generally they don't wear out all that much anymore because they use platinum and iridium, which can last well over 100,000 miles. If they are worn out really badly, sure, you'll get better gas mileage, but usually it's something else that does that, and that's just kind of, you got to check them every once in a while, but unless they're really worn out, they don't affect a modern car all that much like they did in my day when I was a young mechanic. Heck, you'd be lucky if you got 15,000 miles out of a set of spark plugs. Now some of them go 150,000 miles if they're iridium plugs. Joanne Rodriguez, how can I make my Mini Cooper last? Don't drive it much. I was just working on one the other day. Oh my God, when those things just fall apart when they age. You know, when they get to be up to 10 years old, 100,000 miles or more, they generally start falling apart. Realize it's a German design car. BMW makes them. They got a bunch of BMW parts and they're built in England. Over-engineered, yet put together by Englishmen. Not a great combination. They're cute looking and everything, but, you know, you got to take care of it. Change the oil every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. Don't overheat the engine. Stay away from water because they're low and they flood out. And just drive it normal. Don't drive it like a race car because they don't hold up over time if you drive them too hard. One broadcast. Hey, Scotty, I noticed some cars on the highway, their rear wheels are bouncing up and down fast. Is that just bad shocks? Normally it's bad shocks because if they go out and instead of being tight, they're like wazoos and go, then they're worn out. If you have really bad tires, yeah, it can do that too. Or if you have worn suspension parts, it can also make them bounce. But usually it's just the shocks are worn out, and if you see them going down the road and they're fine, but then when you hit bumps, they start bouncing, then you know pretty much it's the shocks. Los Angeles Unstoppable Bubba, doing Lyft, rideshare. What kind of car should I get? Me, I'd get like a Toyota Corolla. Things can run forever. They get good gas mileage. Now, if you're going to buy new and you're going to do it seriously for a living, you could go and get like a Toyota Prius. Because I know a lot of guys that do Uber and Lyft, and they drive Priuses for one reason. If you got a new Prius, and they generally last 100, 150,000 miles trouble-free if you buy them brand new, they regenerate power. So in town, some of those things can get over 60 miles a gallon because they regenerate electricity. And if you get just a regular Corolla driving in town, you're all lucky if you get 20-something miles a gallon in town. So you might think about getting a Prius if you're going to buy a new one. I would not buy a used one, but a new one, yeah. Johnny O says, what's your thoughts on Mustang Fox Body? They're fast cars. I had a customer one. He built this up. He's got 580 horsepower in it. It scared me when I drove it around. It had a 5-speed tranny. That thing was fast. But personally, I think they're ugly as can be. I think the Fox Body Mustangs were the ugliest cars Ford ever made. I don't know why they made them. Now, of course, if you look at the modern Mustang, it takes most of its styling from the older 60s Mustang, and I think they look great. The Fox Body, I mean, they can run great. You can soup them up and make them really go. But to me, they're ugly as sin. And that's just the way I feel about them. Useful Review says, can you talk about reliable German cars? Do they exist? Well, yeah, they actually exist in Europe. They sell a lot of German models they don't sell here. When I was in England, lots of people drove around in Volkswagen, especially Volkswagen diesels. But even the English people, they were really pissed off because for years their government said, buy diesels, get better gas mileage, save the economy, blah. And now they realize diesels pollute and they're making the British get rid of all their diesels. So that's what happens when governments control things. Often they don't know what they're talking about and then they just turn on a dime and go in the other direction. Any giant bureaucracy to me is a bad thing. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.